Hello, my name is Toby, and today I'll be talking about how our product uses or challenges conventions and how it represents social groups and issues. The genre of our opening sequence is a thriller called Caught in the Nest. Caught in the Nest uses and challenges a variety of conventions. Essentially, conventions are ways certain issues, topics, stereotypes, and themes are represented. To show how we used or challenged these conventions, I will be comparing our film to The Tunnel, The Hunger Games, The Thing, Gattaca, Psycho, X-Files, and Dog Pound. In the opening of the thriller sci-fi TV series X-Files, we can see that they use a very similar font to us in their opening sequence. They use a bold white text in all capitals in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. This shows that our thriller sequence adheres to some of the conventions that other thriller TV series have done to engage their audience using titles. However, in the thriller movie Psycho, although the font is similar, the background music is completely different. For us, we just have diegetic sound of them walking in, and in the movie Psycho, they have thrilling, upbeat music. Here, have a listen. The reason our titles are also plain white and very easy to read is so that it does not distract the viewer from the slowly rising tension. This further proves my point as it shows that our titles adhere to conventions, yet our background music may challenge the conventions of thriller movie opening title sequence sounds, which are generally loud, scary, and threatening. The 2011 movie The Tunnel is a documentary-style thriller set underground in Sydney, Australia. In our sequence, the characters are all lined up in what seems to be a tunnel. Due to there being no natural lighting, it is also suggested to the audience that in the sequence Caught in the Nest, they are also underground. Lots of the time in thrillers, there is no way of accessing help. In this case, because they're underground, the audience may believe that they are unable to get help, which will cause the audience to feel tense and anxious for how they're going to escape. Suspense is created in both of these scenes with ominous low lighting. Both of the tunnels in this sequence seem endless, which creates mystery and suspense. Mystery and suspense are common conventions in thriller movies.
Primrose Everdeen.
The second convention is displayed in the 2012 film The Hunger Games. We see a large group of teenagers waiting for something unknown. Similarly, in Caught in the Nest, the group of teenagers walk in and the audience is unsure why and what they are waiting for. This creates the common convention of mystery and suspense. In The Hunger Games, as well as in our sequence, the characters were all wearing white. The color white is a color convention that symbolizes purity. These characters seemingly do not deserve to be there, which further allows the audience to sympathize for them and emotionally connect. In the movie Gattaca, we see how the male protagonist winces as he gets his blood tested through a big needle. His facial expressions show how he is uncomfortable and lashes out as he knows he's going to be caught. A similar reaction happens in our sequence. The main character knows he's going to be caught and dares to escape. There are fairly long shots of the actors' faces and the testing devices the antagonists use against the protagonists. This editing technique raises tension. Needles are used in both Caught in the Nest and Gattaca. Needles are generally seen as scary and uncomfortable. Most people get vaccines in their lifetime, and usually they're associated with pain. This allows for the audience to experience emotional recall, which allows for the audience to connect with the characters and their story. Finally, in the 1998 movie The Thing, we are presented with a very similar situation to what happens in our sequence Caught in the Nest. The characters are in a room waiting to have their blood tested. It is the props, facial expressions, and stereotypes of both these sequences which push the stereotypical thriller conventions forward. It is the facial expressions and physical expression between our character and the character in the thing which indicate the test is causing pain. There is also no non-diegetic sound in either of these scenes. This draws the audience's focus to the fine detailed movements the characters are doing. This is a common convention used in thrillers to heighten awareness and intrigue the viewers to be on the edge of their seat. The low lighting also suggests as a warning and shows that something bad is going to happen. This is commonly called foreshadowing, which is a convention used in all successful thrillers. This foreshadowing was effective because at the climax of our scene, our protagonist runs away as a gun is pulled out on him, whereas the climax of The Thing, one of the men turns into a brutal monster. The main way a convention is challenged is in the thriller Dog Pound. The teens in the prison decide to riot. However, the build-up to this riot is slow, and it takes a while to reach the climax. By now, the audience already knows what's going to happen, and they know that the tension is just going to explode, whereas my scene is entirely calm, and there are almost no hints suggesting that our protagonist is just going to leave. Often in a thriller, build-up of suspense is slow, and the tension is what drives us to feel fear. In our sequence, we wanted to create a jump scare in a way, where the climax has little build-up, but it is very unexpected, therefore causing fright and excitement. Regarding social groups and issues, we adhere to the stereotype of a white male being our protagonist, as well as a predominantly white cast. According to the UCLA Hollywood Diversity Reports, 76.1% of cast members in TV shows and movies are white, as well as 86.1% of the lead role in a movie being a white male. Regarding gender, our cast is 50-50 men and women. This is good because it appeals to our target audience, which is both genders. People may feel put off by watching a show if the cast is mostly one gender. If there is not a good mix of both genders in a sequence, people may instantly feel put off and not want to watch it. Possibly because they feel they cannot relate to the cast members, which is something that audiences tend to enjoy when watching a film. However, individually the women do have less screen time than our protagonist male, because women seem to be portrayed as weak and vulnerable in thrillers. We made an attempt to adhere to this stereotype by having one of the women rub their finger after having a blood test, whereas you see the men do not. This further emphasizes my point that women are more vulnerable compared to men in thriller movies. The next social issue is regarding specific appearances. The man doing the testing has a beard, longer hair, and is older than the other characters. These stereotypical masculine features emphasize how he is the one in power. He is also carrying a gun, which shows that he's in control and has the most authority. Often guns are the most common way in which power is shown in most movies, especially thrillers. This adheres to the stereotype of the man being in charge and having the most control in the situation. The camera being at a lower angle and showing our main character looking up at him, essentially making him seem the victim and less powerful. The fact that he is older is very important because even if there was no gun and he wasn't doing the testing, people would automatically assume that he is in charge, which is exactly what we were going for. Therefore, using dialogue was not necessary, and we wanted to create a powerful meaning without the use of words, based off his actions, camera, editing, sound, and mise-en-scène. I believe we have challenged the stereotype of people being panicked and unsure when they are in a situation that is out of their control. The people in the tunnel seem relatively calm and reassured. This is unexpected and may leave the audience puzzled. The audience may question what they're doing there and how they're going to get out, which is exciting and pushes the audience to think. This challenges the stereotype in thrillers of characters panicking and not knowing what to do and everything going out of control. Yet this adheres to the common stereotype in thrillers, which is they are full of mystery and suspense.